You have probably seen the warning. Every time you ask an AI a question, a data center somewhere gulps down a whole bottle of water just to answer it. Fire off a few emails, and you have drained a bottle. It is a striking image. It is also almost entirely wrong. To see why, you have to know what a data center actually is. Picture a giant warehouse packed wall to wall with computers, all running flat out, all day, every day. And here is the thing every computer does, whether you want it to or not. It takes in electricity and it pumps out heat, an enormous amount of heat. If you do not carry that heat away, the machines cook themselves. So how do you cool a warehouse full of red-hot computers? The cheapest, most common trick is the exact same one your own body uses on a hot day. You sweat. And a data center, it turns out, sweats too. It works like a giant radiator that perspires. Warm water is trickled over big surfaces inside a cooling tower, and as air blows through, a little of that water evaporates. And evaporation is greedy. Turning water into vapor drags a huge amount of heat out with it, and that vapor simply drifts up into the sky. That is where the water goes, not into your chatbot, into a cloud. And this is the first place the scary numbers go wrong. There is a big difference between water withdrawn and water consumed. A power plant might pull a whole river through its pipes, borrow it to cool down, then hand almost all of it right back. Only the part that actually evaporates is truly used up. But the scariest headlines love to count the borrowed water as if it vanished forever. There's also a hidden source most people miss entirely. The thirstiest part of a data center is often not the data center at all. It is the power plant across the state, burning fuel to make its electricity and evaporating its own water to keep cool. Add that in, and the plug in the wall quietly drinks more than the building ever does. So what about that famous bottle of water per question? It traces back to one real research paper, and the paper never actually said that. It estimated that an older AI model used a single bottle for every 10 to 50 answers, not one bottle each. And today, a single question is closer to a few drops, a fraction of a teaspoon. Somewhere along the way, the drops got quietly rounded up into a whole bottle. Fine, you say, but multiply those drops by billions, and surely it adds up. It does, to roughly 17 billion gallons a year for every data center in America. That sounds gigantic, until you glance next door. The country's golf courses drink dozens of times more. Its lawns, well over 100 times more. And watering corn dwarfs the entire lot. Data centers are a rounding error, a tiny fraction of 1% of the water this country uses. And here is the part that flips the whole story. The water was never trapped inside your question. It evaporated off a radiator and rejoined the sky. The very same water cycle that has been raining on this planet for billions of years. Better still, the newest data centers have started cooling their chips through sealed loops that never evaporate a single drop. Some run on essentially zero water at all. The thirst was never actually built in. It was only ever an engineering choice. Now, this does not mean water use is a non-issue, because water is stubbornly local. A rounding error smeared across a whole country can still be a genuine crisis in one town. Drop a giant, sweating data center into the Arizona desert in the middle of a drought and let it sip from the very same drinking water as the neighborhood, and you have a real, legitimate problem, no matter how small the national total looks. But notice what the real problem actually is. It is not that computers are secretly drinking the oceans. It is where we build them and what water we feed them. Use recycled wastewater instead of drinking water. Use dry cooling out in the desert. Build where water is plentiful in the first place. Every one of those is a choice, and every single one is fixable. So the next time someone tells you your emails are draining a reservoir, you will know the real shape of it. A machine that sweats to stay cool, a few drops per question, and a cloud that always gives the water back. If you like the feeling of the world getting a little less mysterious, subscribe. One complex idea made simple every week.